now is this is the first step to web design. You have to understand what you're going to meet. You have to understand how the internet works first. So this will guide you. That I will guide you through with understanding how the internet works, which can help you become a very good web developer. So in the basics, we have this illustration. That is the client. This is the client, and this is the server. Okay, it takes some time. So this is now the client and the server. The client, it sends requests to the server replies back with a HTML document or data that is going to be used in the HTML document, which can also be useful in mobile app development for data exchange. So that can be confusing, don't mind my grammar. This is just simply you sending a request, just like you being in a browser like Google to now request, like being a browser like Google, how it works, how that your browser works. Your browser is a client, the server is Google Industries. How do they send you data? You might think it's a hovering spacecraft that is above the earth or within the clouds that sends you, that helped make those things work, or something invisible. It's not. The only thing invisible is the data being exchanged in form of radio waves. So this is the client, and it sends, as your browser sends request for a page, like you want to browse how to make sandwich. When you type this on your browser, it sends a request. Let me give you the call. It sends a request to the server. That request is just data. It's just nothing but data. So the server processes it. I won't take so long. I won't go so deep into it to make it, instead of it to become complicated and confusing. It just sends it back to the client as response. So it's called response. So it's responding to your request for the web page. Like if you come to your browser and search for any site, that web page is the response. It's a HTML document I sent to your browser. It could be a video game like web app or anything of that sort. They are all sent through this manner. Even in applications, their data is exchanged through this manner. So the server is normally a firm having multiple supercomputers, but the major server you are communicating with is just one unit, which has the data of that website. Then that's the server you're communicating with. Then your client is now the browser. So this is just like you bouncing tennis on a wall. You hit the tennis, it goes to the wall. It goes to the wall, hits the wall, and is now falling back. It's now falling back to you. That's just it. Just like a bouncing ball. Nothing confusing there. So this is the basic view of how the internet works. So let's now go to a more diverse format of how the internet works. So let's now say this is your mobile phone. And we know how a mobile phone looks. We don't have to draw it exactly. Let me just use a box to represent it. And let me just make it a little like a phone, just to avoid confusion. So you are in a website. It could be anything.com. You're in a website and you want to get that you want to browse that you typed something on the rectangle or whatever shape it might be for a site to be searched, something like on Chrome. You search this site, data is sent in form of radio waves to something. I won't yet say that something before it get confusing. To something, and now helps to transfer the data to something like a Google firm or any other company. A firm having multiple super computers, like they can be really big. So let me use this as the body of the firm. This is the firm, very huge. Then this is the supercomputers. Definitely everyone knows what supercomputers is as long as you attended primary school. So this is the supercomputers, very big, having millions of data, and it's been able to host multiple websites. So these are the supercomputers, having the data you really want. Just like someone having something, like you come to a shop, you want to buy something, you have the money, and what's left is to buy it. So this is just like you have the data. Like let me say you purchase data and you want to get into a site, just like you buying the data on these computers to your phone. So just like that, buying something from a shop. Then when it sends the data and through something helps send it to these computers here, these big guys, really huge. So they now get your request, use a document, processes it with a PHP script. A PHP script is processed. Then let's not just use this as a sample for it, like I'm not so good at drawing. So this is now the script, like it's inside. Let me just draw it inside instead. It's inside of the server. That's where the scripts are. So it's inside the server. So inside here, after sending to a PHP script, the PHP script processes it. Then using it could also be programmed with Python, Java, and many other languages. Those things helps to process it. Let me just put it that way to avoid getting confused. It processes your data, then checks for the for what you're requesting for. Normally, it's a HTML file, like the web page you are looking for. So it looks for the directory. The directory is just like the location, like your address, like you living somewhere like in Festac, Lagos, Nigeria. That's your directory. And then the folder where Festac is inside is now Lagos. That's what it's under. That is the parent folder. So to get that directory, it uses these scripts and the other codes that are used to code it. Then finds the directory of the HTML file, which could be hidden anywhere around here. So let me use black instead. So the HTML file is inside a directory. Like let's the directory be this. So just like a folder, then a file you put inside it, or let me say a box, then you put snacks inside it. So the snacks is the HTML file, the box is the folder. And you can even put it in the box inside another box, and that box you put it inside another box. That's how the directory is. So you have to keep opening boxes before you now find the HTML file. So inside here is the HTML file. So that's what it now sends back to the client browser. That is the client, that is the browser. You get me? So that's now the request, just like the diagram we showed earlier, but it's sent as these radio waves, just like this one was sent from radio waves, and through different transmissions it reaches your browser. Then once it reaches your browser, the application, that is the web view application in your phone, now compiles it and shows it to you, helps run it on your phone. And one good thing about HTML, it can run on any device. be it computer, be it your PC, your computer, your iPhone, any kind of device, it can work perfectly. And there's no mobile device or anything of this sort that does not compile HTML. So HTML is the front end, is what you see. But these things that are going on here, you never see them. Even the PHP, without me saying anything about this, you won't even think of what if there's something like this that exists. You won't. All you see is just the HTML file with the JavaScript and CSS that are now being shown in your background in your phone. So that's all you see there. So this is actually the basic format that the website, that is the internet entirely works. So let's now go further. So with that being said, you now understand how it works.